Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be my 5 trends, authors, books I'm avoiding and why. I definitely feel like with being on BookTube and Bookstagram that a lot of books get recommended to me and a lot of genres that I really don't want to read. And no shame if you love these books. Like one of them is going to be a super hyped popular book, and a couple of the authors I talk about that I won't be reading are very, very popular authors. If you like them, that is fine. If they're your favorite, good. There's reasons why I don't like them and why I won't read them, but I honestly don't, I will discuss books with anybody, and I don't feel like everybody is obviously gonna have the same taste. So hang on one sec. So everybody has different tastes in what they are looking for in a book, and especially there are some that I just know I'm not interested in. Some I may eventually get to, but right now I'm just avoiding because I don't believe the hype. I'm always so let down, but let's talk about that. So the first book that I am avoiding is Fourth Wing. This book is everywhere. You cannot escape it. The second book in the series just came out and I have seen it everywhere. Everybody talking about it, everybody raving about it, and I'm not interested. I know a little bit about what it's about. I've heard that the main character has a disability, so that's good representation. I'm just the dragon rider stories never connect with me. And I love dragons, but I take my dragons seriously. I'm talking Smaug, I'm talking, that kind of dragon. I want my dragons to be cool. I want them to be, really amazing characters. And the whole romance aspect with dragons hasn't worked for me in the past, and so I've just been avoiding it. And I'm not saying I won't read it, but right now I don't want to read it. I might wait for the whole series to be out. I don't know how many books are in this particular series, but since the second one just came out, and I don't think it's a duology, I could be wrong. I'll put it there if it is. I just think I'm gonna avoid it for now, and I get that it's hyped. That's the problem, is that most hyped books for me are huge letdown. I have heard really great things and a few reviews that are like, oh no, this is the worst book ever written, which I don't tend to believe that it's probably the worst book ever written, but I'm not into it. I want something, if I'm going to read fantasy right now, I want to stick with an author I know I really like, and I'm not interested in Fourth Wing at all. Plus, once you add in the steamy aspect with the dragon and dragon riders, it's kind of a no for me right now. Okay, so that's Fourth Wing, and I am avoiding it. Let's talk about the next book genre that I'm avoiding, which is going to be anything sports romance. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't know where it came from. Let's be real. How many of these women are actually interested in sports that are reading hockey romances? I've been to hockey games. Hockey was actually one of my favorite sports when I finally ended up going to a game, because there's blood. The first hockey game I ever went to, there was a fight and there was blood on the ice, and I was like, this is my sport. This is it. This is it's action, it's crazy, there's blood. I was all about it. Bring me that blood. And I understand, hockey's fun. I don't understand why it's romantic. I don't understand why hockey romance is a thing. Same with any other sport. I'm not interested in sports that much. I have been to hockey games, basketball games, one football game, baseball games. My family likes sports. I don't really like sports that much. I don't enjoy it. All my brothers played soccer. I get it. Sports are a thing. But it seems like the hot hockey player and the hot football player and the steamy romance of the sports person. I don't get it. And I tried to talk to one of my Bookstagram friends about it and was like, hey, can you recommend one? She's like, just so you know, they tend to be more on the steamy side. And I was like, well, then never mind, because I'm not interested. Sports don't make me more invested in a romance. And I'm kind of just avoiding it for now. I have read books where people in the book play a sport. One was about a girl who wanted to join a soccer team, but it was very much a side plot to the story, not a main plot. So I don't know if that counts as a sports romance. But for now, no, I'm gonna just, no, not for me. Okay, so the next thing is going to be any books by Colleen Hoover. I don't want to read. And this is not against her. I don't know her. I don't have any problem with people who read her books. A lot of the people on Bookstagram that I'm friends with, that I talk to all the time, love her books. No shade, I guess. I just don't connect with her characters. And the first book that I read by her, Verity, was one of the worst books I've ever read. I hated this book. I hated these characters. And when she released the extra chapters later for this book, I was like, I felt personally attacked. Someone posted those on like TikTok, and my sister sent them to me, and I was like, what is this? Ew, stop. No, spare me from more of this trash. I hated it. And I knew that the characters were terrible, and I feel like the extra like stuff that she released just reinforced my belief that like everyone in this book was awful. So no, I can't read Colleen Hoover. I know that there's a lot of her books that are more like relationships. It's not all. Verity is obviously like the more thriller. It's supposed to be like the one with the big plot twist, which, okay. I'm just going to say for Verity, if you know, you know, and I didn't care. The plot twist meant nothing to me because all of these characters could have all been driven off a cliff in the same van and it would not have mattered. I did not like them, did not care. The main girl was actually, to me, one of the worst characters I've ever had the misfortune of reading about because she was so brain dead, in my opinion. But there it is. So no, I'm avoiding Colleen Hoover, and I probably will be for a very long time because I just don't connect with her. Not her characters. It's not for me. No. Okay, so next author that I am avoiding, and I have read one of her books again, is Sarah J. Maas. I'm not interested. I tried Throne of Glass, could not even get through the first. I think I got into like 6 chapters in, not feeling it. And then I did read A Court of Thorn and Roses, and no, not for me. Once again, Feyre to me was one of the worst characters that I had the misfortune of reading about. I did not like her. I did not connect with her in any way. I know Tamlin is the main guy in that book, and obviously, small spoiler, big spoiler, I don't know. He's not going to be the main guy in the other books because there's going to be this big bait and switch with her and Rysand, I believe is how you say his name, which also, no, not feeling it. I didn't like either Tamlin or Rysand. I don't care. This also created a whole thing with like me having to unfortunately hear about all over Bookstagram and BookTube about Wingspan, which I'm like, I know, but I don't want to know. So stop. Like Wingspan Wednesday, and like, oh, and everyone posting about Sarah J. Maas and the guys in her books. I'm like, spare me. So yeah, I get it. Super hyped books, super hyped author. I just don't like her books from what I've read. And it's mainly just like I've tried, and I feel like reading 2 books, sorry. I feel like reading one of her books and kind of seeing her style and then trying another one and seeing her style again and like just not connecting with it is how I know like for now I just need to back off. Maybe I'll wait until she's got a couple more books that I could try, but I'm just not interested in her books right now. And I like fantasy. I like urban fantasy. I like fantasy romance. I do like all that stuff, but I don't connect to her characters very well. And I feel like there's just no point in continuing until, you know, like I'm not going to read her books to bash them. I wouldn't do that. That's not my thing. Also just not going to waste my time like that. And I know she's very well liked. And if you love her books, like I'm glad that they work for you. They just don't work for me. So moving on is going to be my last book. Genre, I guess, that I always avoid is going to be horror, but in particular, Stephen King. I've been avoiding, and I probably will continue to avoid. I know some spoilers for certain things like It, and if you don't know, do your research. But no, I don't read horror. And if you really like it, there's a Stephen King book where you're like, oh, this is so good. And I know that there's some that have been adapted into movies, and the movies I did like. So it's just that right now I'm not interested. And I kind of feel like it's unfortunate that he is such a popular author and there's like some very, very problematic stuff in his books that people don't talk about. I know we can kind of say, oh, it's for that time and it was different back then, but we don't really give anybody else that benefit of the doubt. So I don't think he should really get a pass. Also, I don't think it was that different in that time. It was not that long ago. let's not like kid ourselves on that. There's some very graphic, inappropriate stuff with children in it. If you don't know, look it up. But yes, so I'm avoiding Stephen King, and also just horror as a genre. It's not working for me. I am very sensitive to stuff like that, so I've always just kind of avoided horror. It's my least read genre. I don't enjoy it. It's one of those things where I feel like it's like roller coasters. If you like the thrill, if you like to be scared, it's great, but I don't like roller coasters, nor do I like horror. I also just don't like gore in general. Like fantasy gore is different than like human blood gore. It doesn't really work for me. And gross out stuff, I do get. Medical is different. Like medical is different. I can like read a book where like I can read like about a procedure or something happening and it's not going to bother me as like, oh, like someone being stabbed to death. Like that's kind of grody. So anyway, those are the 5 like genres, authors, I guess I was putting a mix of different stuff, books I'm avoiding. But if you're on like Bookstagram, Book Talk, BookTube, you're going to know these authors, these books. It's a hype, it's a thing, it's everywhere, and it is hard to avoid if you don't want to have to read them or discuss them or feel like you have to, you're not on, like, you're not reading the popular thing, you're not doing the popular thing, and that's hard. I obviously want to be able to discuss books with my friends, but I really don't want to read those ones. So, yeah, there's nothing personal against these authors or these books. They just, for right now, are not either something I'm interested in or they're a genre that I just don't care to read. I also, with the sports romance, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know why. It's baffling to me, but if you have a really great sports romance recommendation, put down below. I'm not completely opposed, but do include the level of spiciness in there or steaminess because that will affect whether I will read it. But other than that, I think that's all I have for today. I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful December and that you are enjoying time with family and friends. I will be traveling, so not sure when my next upload will be, but I will try to keep it as regular as possible. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.